I have been loving the show Pluribus, and right now it's the most watched series on Apple TV, surpassing Severance and Ted Lasso. So today on tap, I'm sharing why I think all of us are resonating so deeply with the show Pluribus. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Erin. I talk about pop culture that makes me feel things from a humorous and a heartfelt perspective. So if that sounds like something that you vibe with, go ahead and hit subscribe so we can be friends. And just a bit of a disclaimer here. For those who don't know what Pluribus is, it's a new sci-fi drama on Apple TV from Vince Gilligan, who's the creator of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. And without trying to spoil too much of it, it's about a woman who is immune to an alien virus that wipes out all of the human population except 13 people who are immune to the virus. And this might contain a little bit of spoilers, so just know that you've been forewarned. Now let's get into it. The first reason why we're all so into Pluribus is that we're all low-key kind of obsessed with aliens and have kind of been waiting on bated breath for an event like this to eventually happen on Earth. In this show, an alien virus is released, causing humans to turn into a species that's really happy and really peaceful. But here's the caveat: they're a hive mind and you lose all semblance of any kind of individuality. And let's just definitely reiterate, thank goodness they are happy and peaceful, because otherwise our main character Carol would be even more screwed. But getting back to why we love this, I think humans are so curious about aliens. We all intuitively know that they exist. We know that our government is not telling us everything about it. We know that we're waiting for the time where they're going to announce themselves and their arrivals. We don't know if they're going to be friendly or not. So I think all of this just touches on basic human curiosity and fascination. And the first episode seemed so realistic if something like this were to actually happen that I was so anxious out of my mind. My anxiety level was at 15. I needed to pace around after. I was so shook to my core. Then all of the episodes after are a little more quirky and fun, so just stick with it. The next reason why we're all so obsessed with the show is because it hits on really relatable themes like grief and isolation. To me, I think the main theme of this show is a loss of individuality, and then comes the really tough emotions that the main character Carol experiences, such as grief from losing her partner. She did not make it during the invasion, however, her consciousness did join the hive mind before she passed. So not only is Carol dealing with the loss of all of humanity, but she's also dealing with the loss of her partner. So there's an absolute heartbreaking, deep grief associated with that, in addition to a deep isolation that she experiences as well. And I feel like right now there is a huge loneliness epidemic. I feel like especially during the winter and the holiday season, this is definitely a huge time for grief and feeling isolated for certain people. So I think that's something that we as humans, in our humanity, ironically enough, can really resonate with. I can't even imagine being one of 13 people left that are fully human and walking outside and not seeing people at shops, not seeing people on the roads. That would just be such a horrifying feeling, as much of an introvert as I am. I think that oddly, watching someone be so isolated makes people feel less alone in their own isolation, if that makes sense. So these themes are very relatable. The next reason why we can't stop watching the show is because of the main character, Carol, and she is so polarizing. You are either rooting for her and have her back and want to save all of humanity, or you're definitely against her and think she's privileged and not considerate of other minorities and if people are having a better life as a hive mind. It's deeply controversial, and I love that. I love that she's not inherently likable. She's an anti-hero. She's a bit insufferable. Her character is pretty hard to take. But then you just have to think and have empathy of everything that she's gone through and think about how you would deal with that kind of trauma. I know that all of the yelling and anger can be pretty intense, but I have to admit it's very magnetic and very interesting to watch. I am personally Team Carol, and I can't wait to see what happens when she meets up with Manusos, so that's gonna be very exciting to see because I think their personalities are very similar. They both got that anger and rage, and I think they're dealing with the loss of humanity as a whole in a very similar way. So those are the main reasons why I think everyone is so obsessed and fascinated with this show. What is the main reason why you're loving this show right now? Let me know in the comments so we can talk about it together. Now, I personally also just love the writing and the storytelling and this unique story, and sci-fi is my favorite genre, so I am so all about this. I'm a huge Apple TV girly. So when I saw the logo for this new show, I immediately clicked yes. I was like, what is this premise? It's about happy aliens that have taken over the earth and one grouchy woman who the fate of humanity rests in her hands. Like, that is wild. Yes, count me in immediately. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, hit that bell. And I will see you next time. Bye.